Oh, shashay, shashay, shashay. So some would say that it's a little too soon to do another Barkin Mad, but you know what? I'm gonna do it anyway, and this time it's a holiday special. So actually, it's my birthday. Cake for everyone, especially me. I usually will celebrate my birthday on St. Patrick's Day. My mom told me that I came 2 days early. I'm a little Irish baby, thanks to her. I made a video years ago. It was probably the first video I made. I didn't put it on YouTube because it looked like it was all about St. Patrick's Day history and Irish folklore and being Irish, which is wonderful. I am so happy to be part of that culture as little as I am. Being Irish from Ireland and being of Irish descent in America or any other country, I think is a very different thing. I don't know enough about the history of what went on in Ireland, but I do know some about America. I think that it is important to celebrate your culture and your heritage, but I also think it's important to talk about truth, how someone might have been complicit in the oppression of others. When the Irish first came to America, they were not considered white, like so many other ethnic groups that are now included in the white umbrella. They were on the same socioeconomic line as native indigenous people and black people. They lived together, they fraternized, they struggled together until the status quo decided to court Irish immigrants. Long story short, you probably know just from how things are now, Irish people became white. I won't say too much because my partner in crime, Gennaro, will have a much more in-depth history down the road. I don't want to step on his toes. But I just thought, since it is St. Patrick's Day and I am Irish, I wanted to touch on this. Irish people becoming white and suddenly distancing themselves from other groups who were oppressed and tortured throughout history. It extended slavery in this country by a few years. There's a book called Birth of a White Nation, and it's a really short book. It's not long. It's actually written by a Scottish woman, and it talks about the beginnings of whiteness, where it came from, how the groups that were not originally white were suddenly white to raise the majority number of white people. There's a whole chapter dedicated to the Irish becoming white. There's even a chapter that talks about, in present time, how now specifically Mexican people, the status quo is trying to court them into being included in whiteness. It's good to be aware of history so that the same thing doesn't happen again and again and again. I've said this before, I will keep saying it. Whiteness is not a real thing, and we need to stop treating it like it is such. It's a very dangerous thing, and you don't want to be part of that. By default, I am white, and I will continue to try and educate people as best as I can on the deadly reliance that white people have on their whiteness. Again, being French or Italian or Irish or Dutch and celebrating these ethnicities that you are descended from is wonderful, and you should. Just as every other ethnicity around the world, you should celebrate your heritage and your family and where you came from. But also, it's time to acknowledge the unfortunate but true parts of history that have been sort of wiped over. You can't change what has happened, and feeling guilty doesn't really help either, but being aware and acknowledging facts is a move in the right direction. This probably isn't what people expected. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Celebrate, have fun, drink green beer or green water, whatever. Wear green, you know, be festive. Just know that everything has come with a price. Don't walk around blindly. Don't assume that everything is this way by accident, or that St. Patrick's Day has always been a thing. There's a very specific reason why, and it's called Christian dominance, but we'll get into that later. By the way, I know I don't seem mad when I talk about this shit, but I am mad. I'm mad that we have to continue having these conversations because we're still treating each other horribly. So go out there and be good leprechauns and actually contribute something good to the world. And maybe you'll get some gold at the end of the rainbow. See what I did there? One more time. Ooh, me blarney stone. I'm working on it. Also, my hair is different. Pay no mind. Jasmine Shea. Happy birthday.